problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay.
Let's talk about the Natty. I'm so happy that we got a Texas team in. No disrespect to USC. Y'all had y'all chance, Cali boys. Y'all, they nutted up. But we got a Texas team in, and Marley has a SEC team. So let's jump right into it. We got TCU, number 3, taking on the Georgia Bulldogs, the defending champions, 14-0, 7-7 against the spread. And the Horned Frogs, 13-1, 10-3-1 against the spread. Now, this game will be going down Monday, January 9th at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time at SoFi Stadium. This line did open up in favor of Georgia, minus 13. Right now, that line's sitting at 12.5. There are some 12s out there also. And the total opened up at 64. Hasn't been a lot of movement on that, but there are some 63s out there as well. Let me get to some of these actual factuals real quick. Get to my notes. And this should be pretty quick. TCU 6-2 against the spread in the last 8 games. The unders hit 4 out of the last 6 games for TCU. Like I said, 13-1 straight up in the last 14 games, and the total has gone over 5 out of the last 7 games whenever TCU is an underdog. As for the Bulldogs, the overs hit 4 out of the last 5 games. Like I said, they are 10-0 straight up in the last 10 games. The unders hit 7 out of the last 10 games against a Big 12 opponent for the Bulldogs. The unders also hit 4 out of the last 5 games in the month of January. They are 16-0 straight up in the last 16 games when playing as a favorite. Now, injury report, very, very big. We got to keep a lookout on this. Hopefully, my boy is healthy. Keandre Miller, running back stud, he is questionable. We all saw him leave the game last week. As far as Georgia, they've been having the injuries that they had for majority of the year, like Nolan Smith. But Darnell Washington, tight end, he's questionable. He left last game with seemed to be an ankle injury. And linebacker C.J. Washington, he's questionable as well. Like I said, last time we seen Michigan, TCU, they beat Michigan 51-45 in a thriller going down. That was a live-ass game. And we saw Georgia almost get upset about one of 2 picks that Marley said was going to go in against Ohio State, 42-41. Now looking at that, I forgot somebody owed me some money. I need to contact them about that game. But anywho, because I made a in-person live bet when they were down by 14, and I was like, let's put some money on. Anywho, with that being said, TCU, UGA, Marley, let you start off, my boy. What's your play? How you feel about this game?
All right. I like this game. And contrary to everybody's belief, I did not want to see Alabama in the playoffs at all. I am tired of seeing them. No disrespect to Alabama fans. As much as I don't know how I got crowned the representative of the SEC on this show, but
just watch the playback.
All right, but anyway, I like this TCU team. I've actually been riding with them for their last probably 5 games of the season. I even lost on the Kansas State game with them. I've been riding with them in overs for the better part of the season. I'm going to continue to take this over. I see this game going one of 2 ways. I think we either get a blowout by Georgia. They're just too big, too strong, too physical. And what makes me say that is that, one, I think that Ohio State game is going to make them refocus and come out, I think, defensively ready to play. Now, the question
I laughed out
is,
loud with what you said, Dave. My bad. I laughed out loud with what he said. It was muted. And Big Boss, we are up by 2 hours. Go ahead.
I seen that.
So the question is going to be at the end of the day is, can TCU's offense score on Georgia's defense, right? That's the question. Can the SEC D-line get pressure on, the underdog TCU? Can TCU's offensive line hold up against Georgia? And I think they can score enough points. I haven't made a decision on the side yet. but I do want to take the over because I think, like I said, we get one or two things. We get a blowout by Georgia, 40-something, 20-something. I think we get the over. Or we get a shootout like we just got with with Ohio State and Georgia. And I think that offensively, when you look at the quarterbacks, Ohio State, C.J. Stroud and Max Duggar, even though C.J. Stroud probably is a little bit faster in the 40, but Max Duggar runs a lot more than Stroud. And it's a wide open attack. The thing is going to be Keandre Miller. Can they run the ball? How healthy is he? Can they move the ball on Georgia's defense? I think they can get us enough points to get in the over. I do think Georgia's offense will be able to score on TCU's defense. So I like the over 63 here. I think we might even get it to go down. Like Coach said, it opened up at 64. I'm really tempted to take TCU plus the 12.5. I think it might be just a little bit too much, but I haven't made a decision on the side. But put me on the over 63 for sure. I think we get either a shootout or a blowout. I don't think we get a defensive struggle.
All right. Marley likes the over in this game. Picks by Dave. How you feel about this one?
Yeah, so I'll say that Georgia's Georgia. They rolled through the season. No surprise there. TCU rolled through the Big 12 until they got to Kansas State, and I was on Kansas State. That turned out good for me. So going into the game against Michigan, I thought it was going to be a blowout. One of two things: either a blowout, like you said, that can't keep up, or they're going to figure out a way to keep it close enough on defense and cover. I was on Michigan. I laid the points. My index had Michigan as a double-digit favorite. I think it was 11 points. So I laid it there. The thing is that this Michigan team, when you look at their stats, are very similar to Georgia. Georgia is number 6 in offense and scoring, number 5 in offense or on defensive scoring. So 6 and 5. Michigan's 5 and 6. They're both teams that can score the ball. They're both teams that don't allow a lot of points. And the one thing the TCU had that going for them, besides the fact that they could keep up with Michigan, is they forced 3 turnovers. So if they can force a few turnovers against Georgia, they can keep this close. I didn't index many college bowl games because you don't know who's going to be in. You can index the games that all their starters are going to be playing and they're going to go balls out, which these playoffs are them. I have this game indexed as Georgia as a touchdown favorite. Way too many points. I'm all over TCU. I think if we know they can keep up on offense. If they can force a couple turnovers and get points off those turnovers, they'll cover the spread. They don't win the game, though.
Yeah. All right. So picks by Dave, ladies and gentlemen. He likes TCU with the points. Big Boss, how you feel about this one? What's the play?
When it comes down to the total, I'm glad somebody finally let me see the total, in a constructive way. My man Marley right there. But I just couldn't see the total because, I still feel like Marley, you don't know what kind of game. You don't know if you're going to get a shootout or if you're going to get a blowout. You don't know what you're looking for right there. So my thing was bet the total live. The only way to do it, let it go down, a couple minutes, 7 minutes into the game or something, and try to decide which way that game is going to be going. That's the only real approach I could see to go into the total. Now, as far as the side, what was important against Michigan is that TCU was able to stop the run, which will be important against Georgia as well, because out of the whole thing, out of everything, everybody on the sidelines and the field, the only one I don't like is Stetson Bennett. I don't think that he's a quality quarterback. I think he's been put into some positions with a great team and a great running. That's why he didn't get the Heisman. That's why he doesn't get none of the credit because everybody knows the dude is kind of silver spoonish.
46.
Yeah. So that's the only weak link I see. So if they can stop the run and force Stetson Bennett to pass, TCU could probably make some, because it is. I mean, you could fight for the sake that Michigan should have really won that game. I mean, they took a couple of touchdowns off the board. There were some crazy calls. It was a lot of turnovers, but you got to give it to TCU because creating turnovers is a part of their MO. That's what they've done the best to be able to make it this far. So if they're able to create a situation where Stetson Bennett has to pass by them shutting down the run, then they definitely got a shot first half. I'm saying first half because that game that Georgia had to play against Ohio State, I don't know what the after effect is going to be. It's not a whole bunch of 3 weeks worth of cushion to getting ready for the game. It's, just a little bit over a week. So I think they're going to have some kind of starting. They're going to have to get going after that shootout with Ohio State. Whereas TCU, they were used to doing that. What happened with Michigan, that was normal business to them. So I like TCU first half. Give me the points. I'm not too sure about the full game because, like Marley said, the blowout factor and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not, we playing 4 quarters I'm going to keep it real. Playing 4 quarters with the SEC big boys, by the time you get in that fourth quarter, they play that lean on me, and a lot of teams fold right there. You know what I'm saying? They can't handle that 4 quarters worth of that. So we could get a second half. Georgia coming to smash it. But I think TCU being a Cinderella team, they have no problems with getting prepared. They want this. They're a seasoned group that's, been together for a second and stuff. So I think they put they best foot forward first half. And the reason I think they could shut down the run, what I saw in the Michigan game, because size appropriately, okay, Michigan's a tad bit smaller than, let's say, SEC players, though. But Michigan, big O-line right there.
Best
TCU
in college football.
Yeah, TCU has quality defensive linemen, but they're not super huge to me. They're sizable, but they're not super huge. But what I saw in the game against Muchin, somehow, some way, I don't know if it's a technique or if it's just the athletic ability of the defensive linemen, but they were able to shoot the gaps to get in the backfield.
It's the 3-3-5. That 3-3-5. I think
it's something. It was shoot. They was getting, because as a defensive lineman, you're supposed to get 1 yard in the backfield and sit down, right? They was sitting in the backfield almost off the snap. They was coming up right there and getting a lot of tackles for losses, shutting down Michigan's running game, and that was big with the big O-line. So if they able to do any of that with Georgia, they got the first half. So give me first half TCU plus points.
All right, so right now it's at +7 right now. You want to take that?
Yeah, give me a touchdown.
Plus a touchdown?
Yep.
I like it.
All right, Big Boss, he likes TCU +7 in the first half. All right, let's get to me. All right, so I remember last year I was able to say NFL picks on every level. Well, this year for Georgia's defense, the NFL picks really are on the first 2 levels. Towards the end of the season, I kept saying it. That secondary, they're not that live, man. You got one corner who's pretty live. I can't think of his name. Short guy with the dreads, single digit. He's pretty decent. But the defensive backfield for Georgia was exposed. They were able to shut down Tennessee because everybody thinks Tennessee's offense is just throw deep. Their offense is designed run first. They spread you out. They throw it deep to make you respect it, to make you respect how far they got the splits for the receivers so they can run the ball. But Ohio State exposed the defensive backfield. And it was, Stroud was having his way to where now I'm like, I think the Texans might need to go with Stroud now instead of Bryce Young, just off of what we saw him do. That's a whole nother story. I mean, he's had a consistent season, but that one game was against, like everybody's saying, a lot of NFL guys, and he exposed him. He didn't.
Career.
Excuse me.
Bryce Young has had a consistent career.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
Bryce Young.
He had a consistent career, so he didn't ball out.
I'm saying he had more than one game. I'm actually not even the biggest Bryce Young fan because I think he's small and I don't want him to get hurt. But if we just talking like talent and poise, Bryce Young really reads the defense.
Bryce Young had really one game too. And that was
Really?
against Georgia last year, the first time they beat him.
I mean, since he came in for Jalen Hurts as a freshman and won a national championship, what are you talking about?
Right. Okay, 2 games. Who did they win against that national championship against? Ohio State, right?
I don't remember. But I mean, that was his freshman year. I think he won one in between that too.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Talk about this year. What did he do this year that had you like, okay? I'm just talking about Stroud. Let me get back to my pick. Stroud showed why he could potentially be the number 1 pick over buddy.
He's
Bryce
just
Young.
small. Other than his size.
Say it again.
Bryce Young is just small, other than his size.
But what I'm saying, all right, let's keep going.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
Let's keep going. Now to the Michigan and TCU game. What caused fits for Michigan was, like Marley said, the 3-3-5. And the 3-3-5 defense, you never know who's coming. So the fact that they, when they were up and they started allowing a 3-man rush, you saw McCarty, he was able to have his way. But in the first half, they was coming, and he didn't know where they was coming. On top of that, whenever they got in a passing situation, he will take the 2 linebackers out and bring in more strong safeties who can cover and not scared to hit. I think Michigan just wasn't used to seeing that much speed on the field and was just as surprised how physical they was. The 3-3-5 did cause a lot of fits whenever they would bring it. If they try to rely on the 3-man rush like they did, that allowed Michigan to come back in the game, they're gonna be in trouble. But they're the underdog. They don't have anything to lose. I like TCU with the points plus 12.5. I'm not a big fan of Stetson Bennett. I think he's just surrounded by a lot of great talent. But I do think that defensive backfield was exposed a little bit for Georgia. And honestly, I think it's going to be a closer game than a lot of people got. I'm kind of like with Dave. He had a touchdown as a touchdown favorite. It should kind of be in there. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if TCU can win it, to just be real with you. But I'm going to jump all over these points plus 12.5. I do like Big Boss's pick plus 7. I think they'll come out hella juice in that first half. And I think Georgia will be just a little bit spooked. And like Boss said, hey, he had 3 weeks to prepare for Ohio State. Now you got to turn around and go 2 weeks. But I guarantee you, Kirby Smart probably told his staff, y'all handle, because I've done it before, y'all handle Ohio State game planning. Myself and maybe 2 other coaches, one on each side of the ball, we're going to scout both these other teams, and we're going to have a game plan in place so that way we can roll it all the way out, which I honestly think they were honestly banking on Michigan being there. But anywho, with all that being said, I like TCU with the points plus 20.5, and I wouldn't be surprised they win outright. It's a Texas team. Let's go.
I like that plus 375.
I'd like to add to this Stroud Young debate. Young is smaller, but if you put his brain inside CJ Stroud, you'd have the perfect quarterback.
Yeah,
because Bryce Young makes better decisions. CJ Stroud still looks kind of clutterbrained sometimes, but physically, his build and his skills, it would be Cam Newton super size. It would be
if you put Bryce Young in Florida's Bryce Young's brain in Florida's quarterback's body.
I was just about to mention him since you brought up
Richardson.
Cam Newton. Yep. I think he's coming out.
He's out. He's gone. He's gonzo. He didn't play in the game. He's in the draft.
Yeah,
Richardson. So he's declared.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, Bryce Young's decision making is amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's just do a recap. Like I said, I like TCU plus 12.5. Marley likes the over 63. Dave is with me. He likes TCU plus 12.5 full game, and DJ Big Boss likes TCU first half plus the 7. Hey, we appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm the coach. That's Marley Bets. That's Picks by Dave. That's DJ Big Boss.
Check it out. Look, we from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay.